One. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anywhere in the world. Coronavirus, endless topic. I keep talking about it in multiple venues and I never get sick of it. Companies around the world have been asking their employees to work from home. Governments are doing the same as well. So I would say millions of people are stationed at home working remotely. Nevertheless, some people like it, some people don't. That's why I'm reaching out to a number of people globally to understand about their experiences during the time of coronavirus. Today's guest is a very special guest, Miriam Kugel. I got it right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Miriam is a management consultant who is focused on talent management, learning and development, and high performance cultures. She's currently based in Oman, working as a partner at New Metrics, heading the employee experience, Future Skills Academy division, and design and implementation of innovative talent solutions. Employee cultural change, that's quite a lot of work you have in your hand. And also she is collaborated on transformation programs with Google Digital Academy, plus many other things.
Correct.
Miriam, good to have you in my show. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Wael. I'm good, thank you very much.
Good. We were talking in the waiting room and you mentioned to me that you're still working between home and office, or you're in the process of transitioning into remote work. But nevertheless,
Sure.
you've worked in remote work as part of your job. It comes with your DNA, I guess. So could you tell me about it, please?
Yes, so luckily in my industry, we are kind of used to working remotely already, or helping our clients to find new ways of communicating and working together. So I, for once, in the business is quite used to it, and we have to collaborate already through a number of tools in the past, like video conferencing or shared sheets or task trackers. Of course, now comes the added challenge of working from home rather than a nice hotel room, a conference room, or a client office where I usually would work remotely if I'm not at the office. Now I'm at times probably more at home in my home office, which is a different challenge and a different layer altogether.
Yeah, and this is one thing I even keep saying to myself. The same case for me. I've been doing a remote work for almost my entire career, stationed in one place, moving to another, working from different venues and so on. But when it comes to be locked at home, it's completely a different routine, right? Life is entirely around the boundaries of your house, so where you try to keep things running and so on.
So I tried to hack out a little bit of a routine for me, if you like to hear about it. I think what's very important for most people is, it depends. Not all of us are in the luxury of having a home office or space, especially perhaps in the Middle East, where home working for most employers that work at end clients on government sectors have not had yet the scenario of home working. They may not have a home office set up. There simply wasn't a need. So I think it's very important to create a space that you just dedicate for work, whether that's just the end of your living room table and that one chair is just reserved for sitting in when you're working, or it's actually a home working space in an office or dedicated room. That's of course down to what you have available, but that's very important. And I also found it's very important to have that distinction between when you're working and when you're not. So even if I'm at home, I still put my makeup on and I still put my suit jacket on. When I sit at the table, I try not to work in my pajamas if possible. I think that's very tempting. And I will also make the distinction of having lunch and stepping away from the desk.
This is so helpful, having to have this kind of routine and mindset of workspace and so on. Wonderful.
Yeah.
For you to be able to communicate with your team, colleagues, as well as connect with your customers, you must be using some digital tools, platforms. So what kind of tools do you have in place for that?
For sure. I mean, we've been very fortunate that the ministry and authorities were very quick here in Oman to enable remote calling software, which before was kind of limited to a certain extent. So we're now using Zoom, like we're using today, very extensively. There's, of course, other calling platforms like Google Meetup and so on, and Skype that you can use at the moment. I'm also making a point of actually calling my team every morning, aligning with them what we need to do for the day, how we're going to organize ourselves. And then we use a shared task, either a software or a task management platform like Microsoft Teams. Google Keep is also a free, easy one to use with a mobile app. or Trello, just a little bit more advanced for projects when we have to plan project steps and maybe want to work a little bit more agile. We use tools as Trello or ClickUp or virtual Kanban boards.
And imagine 20 years ago or more, if we did not have such kind of technology, what would be the case today?
Exactly. I mean, sometimes even now, I made a point. I love whiteboards. So I'm the person that plans usually with sticky notes and whiteboards. This is really my thing. It becomes very difficult when your team is not together anymore. So we found ways to do this digitally. There's tools, but also sometimes I just plan it on my own whiteboard. I took one home and I take a photograph and share it with my team over WhatsApp. And we can make some annotations with the drawing tool. You know, you can keep it really simple, but there's a lot of ways where you can keep your collaboration quite interactive, and it doesn't just have to be email. I think that's one point I want to make. It would be so a tragedy if you just reverted back to the usual channels of email and phone call. And also WhatsApp is a tool we have to be quite careful with. I've seen it with my colleagues, I've seen it with my husband, I've seen it with other people that are in the workplace now working more remotely. There's such a flood of WhatsApps from friends, family, and work colleagues coming in, work related, and also, of course, checking in, but it's almost overwhelming a little bit. So WhatsApp is a tool that has to be managed quite carefully now. Otherwise, you drown in this flood of messages, and
of course,
it can be quite difficult.
You end up being overly digitized. Which
one
is...
tip I have there for people, there's actually WhatsApp for Business. It's a free tool. And you can download that onto your phone, which means you can actually have two WhatsApps on your phone now. The normal WhatsApp and WhatsApp for Business in parallel. And the WhatsApp for Business allows you to put on out of office. It allows you to label messages, to come back later to respond to them. So that's something I immediately downloaded 2 weeks ago, just to be able to manage my WhatsApp inbox.
I'm gonna need to do the same, to be honest with you, definitely. So,
and you can run two numbers, which is perfect.
Very good. So when this is all over, and I believe personally, you know, this is not, the coronavirus is not here to stay for long, you know, but there is after coronavirus and before coronavirus. So what do you think companies can do for them to be ready for the future of such kind of events, changes that happens all of a sudden?
I think the blessing of this situation is, you know, sometimes it takes a crisis and an extreme event to get you to change, like the burning platform example we always use in change management and agile trainings that we do. And of course, it doesn't always land with such urgency and poignancy like it does today, because there's a real need to change. I think digital transformation has never been more relevant. What clients need to start doing already, and companies can start doing already, is thinking about how business continuity outside with their customers takes place, that many shops are closed, the channels are not the same anymore, digital service, digital customer feedback, conversational branding, digital marketing. So all these interactions and the customer experiences suddenly needs to happen online. How will you keep that up, and how you communicate and sell to your customers in the best way? And then, of course, the inside perspective. How do I keep engaging my employees? How do I keep them productive? What are my IT and HR policies for performance and protection, authorizations? How can we make information available where it's needed while it's managing risk for the business? But the most important point also is how to keep engagement high. All the team meetings, the small personal interactions of a manager coming to you and saying, hey, are you okay today? Or good job, and a tap on the shoulder. This is not taking place right now. You know, even if you're physically in the same office, you're 2 meters apart, it's not taking place. And the team meetings and gatherings and team buildings, there's many ways how you can still do that online, and it needs to happen, and it can happen. So don't forget about your employee engagement. It's more needed now than ever to keep motivation and spirits high while times are tough, potentially.
I do agree with you. And given your expertise and your company speciality as well, I'm quite sure that you will leverage and enable these organizations in your area to be able to adapt to these kind of changes as well. But you're keeping motivated, which is very good. Okay, and I see a positive vibes coming out of the screen. So how do you do that?
Well, I tell you one thing. I lived through the financial crisis 2007 in London. when we had the market crash, and it was very severe, you know, with the banking system and investment companies like Lehman Brothers closing their doors and people being out of their jobs overnight. It was not a very easy industry. I used to work in talent acquisition and IT, and all my clients stopped hiring, or so you would think. But you know, there's always opportunity in a crisis, and I actually ended up having my best years throughout that phase of the crisis in terms of sales than I had before or after, which was quite interesting. But there is always a space for good people doing the right thing and trying to accomplish the right things with your clients. And we always used to work remotely, so I'm quite used to that. So my previous business in 2007 was always remote. I actually hardly ever saw my clients face to face. So it just continued on, and my clients were more inclined to work with people that did the right thing before the crisis and not only started doing the right thing during the crisis. So I'm very hopeful that with the right adaptability and agility as a business and as an individual, you can make the best out of this. Of course, it comes with sacrifice. This may not actually, you know, leave everybody unscathed. Of course, there's economical implications.
Of course.
But we just adapt, and we have to support the less fortunate with the tools and means to continue their business as much as possible.
Certainly. And as you said yourself, there is always an opportunity in crisis, and we will keep looking for that. Miriam, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Do stay safe, stay positive, and we'll talk to you again in the next episodes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.